Good morning. This rather fetching device is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. As the name suggests, this is the 7th version of the Galaxy Z Fold. This particular model, in this rather fetching blue color, which I think looks rather nice, is the top of the range. This has 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. I've been using it daily for over 2 months now. What I'm looking at today is just a brief overview to give my opinion of what it's like to use as a daily device. So if you were to buy one of these, what's it going to be like to use every day for however long you may keep it? It's not an in-depth review, and I'm not doing a camera shootout or anything like that. There are plenty of very good YouTube videos out there that go into all the technical details. I'm looking at presenting this to people who are not necessarily experts, but they're just curious about the real-life experience of using a foldable phone like this. It has a 6.5-inch AMOLED exterior screen that measures 2520 by 1080 resolution. It's from 1 to 120 hertz, has a variable refresh rate. It's extremely bright, goes up to 2600 nits of peak brightness, and it's more usable than the previous versions because it's got a wider aspect ratio and it's lighter weight. So in use, with it closed like this, it feels pretty much just like any other normal candy bar phone. In fact, it's a little bit lighter than even some of the standard candy bar phones. I have here the latest Google Pixel 10 Pro XL, the large one. And as you can see, size-wise, screen-wise, they're not hugely different. The Pixel, though, is heavier. It's 232 grams, whereas this is 215 grams. And this has a party trick. We open it up, and inside we have a nice bright 8-inch AMOLED screen. And this one measures 2184 by 1968 pixels. Again, it has a peak brightness of 2600 nits and 1 to 120 hertz variable refresh rate. It's also HDR10 plus compatible. It allows for easy outdoor visibility, and it's great for multitasking if you want to have 2 apps side by side, because effectively you've got 2 normal screens on the inside there. The processor inside it is the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. As I've said, this one's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, and in day-to-day use, it's buttery smooth. It's beautiful to use. It has stereo speakers. They've put Galaxy AI on the device. It has ultra-wideband connectivity, so you shouldn't have any problems connecting it to other devices. Some people like to use it with screens and keyboards and a mouse using Samsung DeX. It has a battery of 4,400 milliamp hours. But partnered up with a Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is a more efficient processor than last year's processor, I have found that I can get a full day's use out of this device. Now, that's the way I use it. The way you use it may be different. What I tend to do is, when I go to bed at night, this goes on a wireless charger. I have a 15-watt wireless charger, which is the fastest speed supported by the Z Fold, and that will charge it up overnight. When I get up in the morning, around about 6 o'clock, I will take it off the charger, and it will remain off that charger for the rest of the day. If I'm in my car, I might pop it on the wireless charger in the car, which is a slower charger, but it will give it a bit of a topper. But if it's the weekend, I probably don't put it on charge again until I go to bed at night. I usually find at that time I've dropped down to around about 20-25% left. So I can get a full day out of it without getting too much anxiety. If I'm going out for the evening and I want to make sure I've got more of a charge, I'll put it on what Samsung calls fast charging, which is 25 watts. The fast charging will take it from empty to full in around about 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. So if I'm going out for the evening, I might stick it on while I go and have a shower for 15 or 20 minutes. And that usually gives me a decent amount of power to get through the rest of the day. So real world usage, I think it's quite useful day to day, and you won't be too anxious about running out of battery. As I've already alluded to, it is thinner and lighter than previous versions. It is 215 grams, and that screen, when it's opened out like that, is only 4.2 millimeters thick. Not particularly matters. I'm more concerned about that when it's folded up, and it feels very comfortable in the hands, mainly. The front screen is Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2. I've been using this, as I said, for a couple of months now, and there's not a single mark or blemish on that front screen that I can see. So it is quite robust. I think it will easily handle day-to-day use. Now, if you're somebody who's concerned, you may want to put a screen protector on there, or you may want to put a case on the device. Bit of a shame, though, because one of the beauties of it is just the way it looks and handles and the way it feels, and it's that natural one-handed use on the front screen that makes it a pleasure to use. If you're somebody who values a bit more screen real estate, so I use the Kindle reader on here, and I find that with the Kindle reader with this wider interior screen, I'm able to look at a book it's much more readable than it would otherwise be. So I get a full screen reading experience like that. If you like multitasking, you can put two apps side by side, and that works quite well as well. So you might have Gmail one side and your Notes app the other side. One downside, and it's only a minor one, but it's a little bit annoying for me at any rate. The corners here on the left edge. So this is where when it's open, it has to join up. So those corners tend to be a little bit on the sharp side. So I find when I'm holding it in my left hand like this, the corner digs into the palm of my hand a little bit. Now, thankfully, because it's not so heavy, that's not too bad, but it is there, and it annoys me just a little bit. Now, if that was annoying you, you might find that by putting a case on, it will round that corner off and make that less of an issue. When I compare it to the Pixel 10, you'll see they've got a much more rounded corner. It makes it more comfortable to hold in the hand for longer periods of time. But you don't get the advantage of opening up and having a larger screen on the inside. The device is IPX8 rated. What that means is it's got a little bit of dust protection, but not major, so you don't want to get too much dust in this, but it is fully waterproof. I've tested this by actually taking it in a swimming pool. I went under the water with the device, took it out, absolutely fine, no problems at all. So it's fully waterproof. Not that you're going to be reading it under the water, hopefully, but we'll cope with that if that's what you need to do. One major downside, very expensive. So the retail price in Australia for this particular model, the top of the range one, is 3,549 Australian dollars. It's a lot. The mid-tier one, the 512 gigabyte one, is $3,099, and there's a 256 gigabyte one, which is $2,899. However, if you're buying one of these devices, you probably want a little bit more storage than 256 gigabytes. Samsung offers a monthly plan, so you can pay for it each month over 24 months, and that helps you bear the pain a bit. And of course, being Samsung, they do offers, they do discounts. When it's launched, they always do special offers. You get double the storage tier for the same price. So you get the you get a 1 terabyte one for the same price as the 512 gigabyte one, which is what I decided to do. But they will do other special offers. They particularly do good trade-ins, particularly if you've got another Samsung phone. They usually give you a generous trade-in for that. And as we approach the holidays like Christmas, they will always do discounts before Christmas. So if you're thinking of getting one, it might be worth holding on to that. It has a premium feel, and it's not just for techies, this device. I think for people who value that internal screen real estate, as I said, for reading or multitasking, that might be great. It is probably state of the art. We think Apple are going to bring out an iPhone. It's probably going to look very similar to this, my guess would be.